welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing the first and last tag, and this tag was created by Kimberly's Book Nook, and I was tagged to do this by Nerdy Book Lover. So the first question is, what was the first video you posted and what was the last video you posted? The first video that I posted was a review of the book Unearthly by Cynthia Hand, and that video is so bad. I'm so embarrassed of it now. Like, I didn't know anything about lighting or editing, and I was just like sitting in front of my desk, and I was like so monotone, and that was just such a bad review. But I think everyone has that issue, so that's okay. The last video I posted, well, depending when I post this one, I'm not sure, but the last video I made and like edited was my used book haul. Okay, the second question is, who was the first booktuber you ever watched, and who was the last booktuber you watched, and what was their video? The first booktuber I remember watching is Cass J Tuck, and I'm not sure what really prompted me to find it, because I found the beauty community a lot earlier than the book community, and I was just looking for a review of something. I don't know, maybe Legend by Marie Lu or The Mortal Instruments or something like that, and I found her reviews. She's awesome, and the last booktuber I watched was Whitney from Witty Novels, and she did a discussion on the Shatter Me series. Okay, the third question is, what is the first book you remember buying, and what is the last book you bought? I can't remember the first book that I actually bought for myself. I mean, I've been like obsessed with books practically forever. I remember when I was younger, my school used to have these like Scholastic book orders. Well, I don't know if anyone remembers those, but I remember I always used to get a ton of books, and whenever like the box would come, they're just like, oh, that's Katie's box, and all the kids would be totally just looking at me weird, whatever. But I think the first book I remember buying is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I got this probably in middle school sometime. This copy is like so messed up, like some of the pages are ready to fall out. It's not even that old. The last book I remember buying, well, I just had that like massive used book haul, so I'm going to pick the book I bought right before that, and that is Eve by Anna Carey. The fourth question is, what is the first novel you remember reading all by yourself, and what was the last novel you read? The first novel I remember reading all by myself was probably one of the Junie B. Jones books. I can't really remember anything before that besides like picture books. And the last book I read is Tiger's Quest by Colleen Houck. Okay, question number 5. What was the first dystopian novel you ever read, and what was the last dystopian we read? Now, the first dystopian I read is The Hunger Games, and you people are probably like, whoa, that was recently. Not exactly. I actually read The Hunger Games back in like 7th grade, so like 3 or 4 years ago, because I read it when Mockingjay wasn't even out yet. And the last dystopian I read, I think this counts, is The Program by Suzanne Young. Okay, question number 6. What was the first paranormal romance you ever read, and what was the last paranormal romance you read? The first paranormal romance I read is Twilight, which is the universal answer. I read this like oh my god, it's almost 5 years since I read Twilight. That is insane. I'm not a huge paranormal fan, actually. It really depends on the book. And the last paranormal romance I read is probably like, I think I have this book for like 5 of my answers, but that is Tiger's Quest by Colleen Houck. Question number 7 is, what was the first book that made you cry, and what was the last book that made you cry? The first book I can remember that actually made me cry was If I Stay by Gail Forman. Now, when I was younger, I used to not cry at anything. I didn't even cry when I saw Marley and Me, and now I can't even sit through like a Disney movie without crying. It's really sad. I'm like a really emotional person. The last book I cried during, same answer again, is Tiger's Quest by Colleen Houck. Ending was so emotionally damaging, and I didn't even like this book that much, and I was sobbing because it was so emotionally damaging. Question number 8. What was the first entire series you completed? And that would probably be the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan, still one of my favorites. And the last series I completed is the Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. I read this during the BookTubeathon. Question number 9. What was the first book you couldn't push yourself to finish, and what was the last book you couldn't finish? First book I couldn't push myself to finish, I don't know, because I'm a person, if I get like 50 pages into a book and I don't like it, I will put it down. I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, I started it, I have to read it, can't do it. So the first book, like recently I guess, that I couldn't finish is Poison Princess by Kresley Cole. I was not a fan of that. I think I got maybe like 100 pages in and couldn't finish it. And the last book I couldn't finish was The Diviners by Libba Bray, which is really weird because I actually didn't hate the book, but I just got to a certain point where it was like dragging on, and then the main character made a decision I didn't like, and I was only 100 pages from finishing, and I did not finish. I'm still mad at myself that I didn't finish. Oh well. And the last question is, who is the first person you'll tag, and who is the last person you'll tag? The first person I'm going to tag is Lost Book Thoughts, and the last person I'm going to tag is Two Fab Sisters. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you again soon.